both in video as well as in audio. So if you just want to, if anybody wants it, hey, suddenly I see Moshe Ellis.
Yeah, is cameras working?
Yeah, yeah, in full color. Hey, a hunk of funk. All right. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to share the screen of the Sichos Haran that we are dealing with today. Hold on. There it is. Okay. This is Sicha Hey, and this Sicha has a few subjects. I don't know how many of them we'll be able to touch on tonight, but we will start. היה מגנה מאוד את ספרי המחקרים והפילוסופים. There we will speak very derogatorily on the books of philosophers and researchers and scientists. ואומר שאין שם כלל שכל גמור. He says there's no real שכל there. כמו שיש בזה מאמר מהרש"א ומהר"ם שיף. The kind of sechel that there is, any one of the Jewish gedolim, the Maharsha specifically is one of the gedolim that were a couple of generations before Rabbeinu, and Maharam Shif. This is all about the Gemara v'kayotze misfarim hakadoshim, all those from our holy Sfarim shesh b'am amkus v'sechel nifla v'noim me'od. They have an unbelievably profound sechel, profound and pleasant sechel. אבל באלה הספורים לא נמצא זה השכל כלל. This kind of sechel of wisdom cannot be found in those writings at all. כי הם מדברים רק בדרך היקשים מיניה וביה. They only talk about, one thing proves to the other, therefore one, inference one to the other. עד שבאים לאיזה מאפס, so they come to some kind of proof. אבל השכל שיש בתורתנו הקדוש להבדיל, but the kind of wisdom that exists in our Heilige Torah, this you cannot find there at all. And Rabbeinu says, "Asher mishen yakla misefreim." Happy and fortunate is the person that doesn't have any clue of what's written in their books. Hakolach betmimes, you got just go innocently. The main thing, he has the fear of punishment. You're going to live this life, and you're coming through the door, and when you're done, you're going out the door. And Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't have to, quote unquote, catch up with you anywhere. He's waiting for you around the corner. He's all the time there. And the main thing is that a person needs to fear that, as the Stipler said, used to say that uh, the reason why Yir Shemayim was going down in our generation is because parents do not speak to their children about Gehenna. Kipshuti. Wow, and it was fear tactics. Yeah, duh. I mean, it's like telling the kid, don't run to the street because a car will hit you. Yeah, fear tactics. I mean, you want to tell me that when a kid runs to the street, that there's a car waiting to hit him just as he got a boom, a car will hit him? How many kids run to the street and no car ever hits them? Anybody with a shtickle seichel understands that's a taina. That's a fear tactics. And anachinami, if a chas v'chalila kid runs into the street, it's not 100% thing that chas v'chalila will be hit by a car. But if a person gets out of this world and he has to answer for whatever it is that he did here, this is 100%. It's an unbelievable story of what happened just a couple of days ago. I have a friend who's a wonderful person. He really is. A really rare person that he's not religious, and he is a little bit older than me. And he and his wife have closed themselves in the house because of the corona. Like me and my wife, him and his wife, they closed themselves. Now the thing is that here's a guy who was successful, throughout his life, made some nice money. I'm not saying that, but made some nice money. And he and his wife at a certain point in time decided, something, they're just going, throughout, they're traveling the world. They're going all over the world. We're in China and Thailand and this and that. And they're going all kinds of, and suddenly he's locked in his house. So I was talking to him, and he was devastated because he's a person who is like, is all the time used to traveling, going out, being involved with his family, with his children, with his grandchildren. It was like he and his wife were the perennial babysitters. Just a person who was all giving, and suddenly he's locked in his house, and he's bitter. So he had a talk with he talked with me, and he had all these doomsday scenarios about what's going to be with the coronavirus and this and that and younger generation and this. So I said, I don't know anything about this. I mean, all these things that they say is going to be a year, it's going to be half a year, it's going to this, going to that, and I don't know. I said, I'm sitting at home, I'm having a good time. I don't know. I'm sitting, I'm learning, and I'm davening, I'm trying. I go to sleep, I wake up, I sit with my wife, I talk to her. I don't know, having a good time. So he says, okay, you choose to live in a bubble. I choose to live in a bubble, and you don't. He says, yeah, I'm bringing, I'm thinking about all the eventualities, all the possible consequences of whatever it is that can happen, and I prepare myself. And if it doesn't come about, I didn't lose anything. I'm pleasantly surprised. But if it does come about, I'm prepared. So I was like, how are you prepared? No, I mean, excuse me for, being thick-headed, but then how am I prepared? How are you prepared? I mean, like, what are you going to do? Come to every young man and says, relax? As I said, the truth is that you live in a bubble and I live in a bubble. The thing is that your life is based on a basic assumption, on a certain emunah, and my life is based on a certain assumption. And according to that axiom, this is basic assumption, you decide which information is pertinent and which is superfluous. For me, there's olam hazeh and there's olam haba. So everything else is not negia to this. The olam haba is, yeah, it's interesting, but it's not, it's not that, okay. When I want to take a break, so I go and I look at these things, I find these things. But for you, it's only olam hazeh. This is all there is. He's a scientist, he's a scientific officer of various startups and everything else. Whatever, it was a very, very smart guy. I said, you decided olam haba is not, that's not your basic assumption. I says, let's say that a person comes, there's a finish line to this life. If chas v'chalila you're right, I won't have a split second to be disappointed, would I? But what are you going to do if I'm right? There's olam haba, and it was totally irrelevant for you. You did nothing to prepare yourself. There's a word from the Kotzker Rebbe that they said that the person came to him, that, a person was running into all kinds of problems with parnasa and all kinds of things like that. And he said, well, I have olam haba for sure. So the Kotzker Rebbe said, how can you be so sure? So he said, well, because I don't have any Olam Haza, so I for sure have Olam Haba. So Kotzker Rebbe told him, you silly goose. This world, which you're working so hard on, you don't have, but you do nothing for sure you're not going to have. What do you think? We don't give you this one, we give the next one. The Rebbe says is that Aikir Avodah Baschola, the main beginning of getting into Avodas Hashem is only because of Yiras Einish. Because you fear that if you don't do what you need to do to the best of your abilities, you're really going to get it. You're really, really going to get it. He says, he says it's not possible to start Avodas Hashem without shaking in your boots about what's going to be unless you do. He says, Vafilo tzadikim, even the tzadikim, they also need yira. Not looking just people like us, but even the tzadikim, they need yira because if the mahavo, people who serve Hashem out of pure love, avodas Hashem are very, very few. The main thing is yiras ha'onish. He says, but this exalted awe, yirei law, being a gavashol. He says, this is not every single person, can be zoicha to such awe. But ikra avoda, the main avoda is just yiras ha'onish by most people. That's the name of the game. That's the gate. This is how you start. Because the truth of the matter is that, as we spoke in the last shiurim, the main thing that we, the main temptation in our lives is to take a break. Just let me have a little, let me feel good. Let me enjoy myself. Let me escape a little bit. Just like leave this world with all those proofs of my inadequacy, and let me run. Let me have a good time. A little bit, man. 5 minutes, and 5 minutes becomes an hour, and days, and years, and decades, and this is how it happens. The main thing is yes, Einish. The thing that really, really spurs us into action is a letter from a lawyer. Is a phone call from a police station. What? Yeah. Unless you do this, and this, nothing helps. Nothing moves. Fear. Pashut fear. And the Rebbe explains. He says the main thing is yes, Einish. He says by most people. He says that's the main avodah. He says that anybody who learns chas v'sholem, sifra, mechakri, and philosophim, what happens is that doubts and heresies enter his heart. Ki kol adam noyladim rishus. Every person is born with inborn wickedness. Ki teva kol adam nimshach achar rishus. What does it mean? Taivas erosh shalom mazeh. The taivas of this world, achmal letzlah. But because he has he's scared of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he breaks his tie and gets into the words of Hashem. Then he finds himself the kind of doubts and heretical opinions that he needs. That this is an aid to his inbred, inborn, innate riches that he has in his teva. He says that's why you never find a single person who becomes ish kosher in Yer Hashem through Sifra Mechakrim. Sifra Mechakrim, by the way, we're not just talking about, Voltaire and Kant and whoever, all those hoodlums. I mean, even Chatzifer Hakiras, Shebekdusha, like like in Yiddishkeit, like Lemur Nevochim of the Rambam. The Rebbe says not to learn it. And the Abarbanel and the Ibn Ezra, and all those that are based on seichel, on philosophy, the philosophical point of view, stay away from it. It says, even though you do find in their words some good things from Midas Tevis, and also still, it says the loss is greater, than the gain, because they confuse a person. And he says, look in different place, and from the great issue to learn in those forums. Rabbeinu says, Ashreinu, Moshe Rabbeinu chose us a good, a good chalik. Gives the Torah says, Bereshis bara Elokim es hashamayim v'ta'aretz. He didn't start with any chkiras and any moifs, and didn't explain. He just ordered us to believe in a Kodesh Baruch Hu, Emunah, and that's it. He says, don't go into this. And then Rabbeinu gets into the last portion of what is happening here, and he says that all the new inventions, that the philosophers and the scientists have invented with their chokhmah, like the war machines and all kinds of things that are done with great intricacy and very greatly sophisticated, and all these kind of innovations. He says everything comes from above, because it wouldn't have been possible for them to ever come onto it if it wasn't that Mishamayim they put into their seichel that wisdom. Why? Because the time for that invention came to the world. That's why they sent him milamala from the Shemaim in their seichel this particular discovery that will be revealed in the world. It says all the previous, the ancient chachomim, which were much wiser than them, and they also studied this particular thing. How come they didn't reveal it? They didn't discover it. It's because the truth is that everything comes from above. When the time comes, the discovery comes. People think that, they think that it's them who are inventing something from nothing. But it's not true. It's just Mishamayim, the veils being taken off, a specific seichel that was sent from above. So the same thing, lehavdil, is the Chidush Torah. The Chidush Torah and the Pshatim and the Chidushim, the Gemara and Rashi and Tosfos, this is everything comes from Shamayim. He says, of course, there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of madregas from where things come, where each one receives the ha'ora and the sparkling, the glimmering in the seichel, and from where they're giving you the chiddush or the chokhmah. But the klal, the Rebbe says, the principle is that all the wise people, Sai Bikdusha, like the Pshatim and Drushim, and Lahavdil, their Chochmas, science, and all this, everything is being given to them and sent to them in their Seichel from above, each one from the place that he deserves. Hello, Hillel. I haven't seen you before. Okay. So here we are, the in of fears Hashem. One of the most delicate balancing act that a person needs to do in this life is when to understand that you had better be scared, like really scared. And when to understand that you're being pushed by the Yetzer Hara into a year raw the Rebbeinu says that the Baal Shem Tov was sent into this world to rid this world of what they call a Beza London, a nervous London. Rabbeinu starts in Torah Aleph, Nikuta Maran, and he says the Yetzer Hara puts himself, is cloaking itself in mitzvahs. It could be that the Yetzer Hara says, you that guy. It's a mitzvah to be chaylik on him, to dispute on him. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah. You got to put pashkavil, and you have to make all these meetings, and you have to declare to this particular guy or that particular guy he is the devil incarnate, and anybody who follows him or whatever it is a spawn of the devil, and whatever, the whole shebang. And it's a mitzvah to persecute this guy to death and to tar and feather him and run him out of town. That's one of the famous ones. I would say that in fact, I don't have to say it. Nina Balatanya said it himself. He says in his tzavot to his children, he says when there's a machloikus, even on the right side, don't get involved. Don't get mixed in. Even on the right side, just stay out of it. In other words, listen, you say it's a mitzvah to dispute, to persecute this guy. Tkiyas Shef is also a mitzvah. I'm yotze with somebody else. I'm yotze with you. You're chalak on him. You think it's a mitzvah? Be moitze me. I'm out of it. But there's a much, much more insidious Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara of Yira. You're going about moping around. You're looking inside your head, and all you see is how you just don't measure up. You don't measure up. You just like, come on. You're better enough not starting to begin with. You're just making it worse. Every single step, whatever you're trying to do, you're making it worse. Just stay out of it. Blow this up. Don't start. Go to sleep. At least you'll be quiet. You won't disturb nobody. You'll be asleep. The longer, the better. Or lock yourself in the bathroom. Take yourself a book. Go to the bathroom and stay there for hours. Nobody will bother you. You'll be alone. Of course, when you get up from your sleep, or whatever it is that you do, just feel even worse. But what do you want you to do? I don't measure up as anyhow, no matter what I do. And the Yetzer Hara says, yes. Good. Yeah. You give it to yourself, like to really do it. Speak to yourself like, yeah. And what about Nikuda Teva? Well, Nikuda Teva, big deal. So I did something good. I put on film today. So I'm wearing tzitzis. So a little old Torah. Oh, okay, it was a big deal. Everybody does that. This says, yeah. This one says, yeah. Keep on keeping on, man. You're right on. That's the way to do it. It must be that way. It's the only way to do it. Because heaven forbid, if you'll be b'simcha, if you'll say, you know something? So I did it. So I fell through. I get up again. What? Don't dare. Don't. Next thing you're eating pork. Next thing, I don't know. You'll go to Tibet and you go, I don't know, you become a disciple of the Dalai Lama, or the Dalai Kacha, or the Dalai, I don't know what. Don't give yourself, a shred of leeway. Okay. We all know, for those who we have some new faces over here, in 10 minutes, this meeting is going to end automatically, and I'm restarting it again. So what you do is you click on the link once again, because this is a free version that has a 40-minute limit. The main trick which Rabbeinu speaks about in Torah Vav is to realize when it is the Yetzer Tov who is telling you, yo, dude, life is limited, it has an expiration date. Just because you don't know what the date is doesn't mean there isn't one. And, there is, excuse the expression, but there's hell to pay, you know what I'm saying? Like, no pun intended. But it's really a serious thing. And on the other hand, you have the Sahara, who first of all tries with the philosophies, with the aid of philosophies, the aid of deep analysis into what's the difference between, I don't know what, to get you to stay away from Yiddishkeit, to stay away from Avodas Hashem. You can find quite a few religious people who, between you and me, because they're not close to the tzaddik emes, are bored with Yiddishkeit. So what they do is they deal with hakiras, they deal with philosophies, they deal with, he's a doctor, he's a this, he's a that, he's from a Yid, he's a Baruch Hashem, he's a Shomer Torah mitzvahs, but it's like usually it comes out of despair. I'm not going to be a Chaim Kanevsky, is anyhow. I'm not going to be Rimya Kemir Shechter. But I want to be a somebody. So at least, I learn, I don't know, I learn Salt in order to put him down and to prove him wrong. Or whatever it is that I will do, but at least I'll be a somebody, just to serve a Kodesh Baruch Hu without, with nothing else in it for me, quote unquote. This is when you're far away from the tzaddik. It can even be that you're looking for yourself without realizing it. You can look for yourself as a career, as a tzaddik. Every Baal Tshuva that you'll ever find, at a certain point in time, finds and says, something, I won't be a tzaddik. I'm going to be a tzaddik. I'm going to be such a big tzaddik. I'll be coming out. People are going to say, wow. Well, this guy coming out, new King Kong. He's like, whoa, what a tzaddik. What man is unbelievable. What a tzaddik is. Not mamash tzaddik. Mamash tzaddik is diminutive, When you put mamash, it makes it smaller, like, he's a tzaddik. Mamash tzaddik is not really, but mamash. To be a godel. To be a godel is a Yetzer Hara. To be Mashiach is a Yetzer Hara. You can see from Moshe Rabbeinu. The only Mashiach was Mashiach, didn't want to go. Find this guy, whoever it is, but leave me out of it. So first of all, the Yetzer Hara comes to you with chakiras, with philosophy, with sophistications, You're not one of those simple guys who sit down with Smidrish, like, and try, break down the Gemara, the Tosfos, the Rishonim, that right. This is, how many of them? They're like locusts. There's so many of them. They don't do anything. They don't go to work. They don't do anything. But moi, forget about it. I understand things they didn't even dream of. They didn't even think about these things. If people knew how smart I am and how deep I am, man, they were like, the jaw would drop onto their laps, man. If they only knew. If they only knew. Unfortunately, nobody knows. I'm the only one who knows. Okay. That Yetzer Hara is aimed to keep you out of Avodas Hashem. But once you already get in, you have a new Yetzer Hara. This new Yetzer Hara tells you, you did what? No, whoa, time out. What did you do? And you wake up in the morning. As you open up your eyes, the Yetzer Hara comes, boom, boom, two sides, one vish, another vish. That's the way you wake up in the morning? This is how you wake up in the morning? Schämt sich nicht? Scheiges für the best? That's the way you wake up in the morning? I can't believe this. The only thing you want to do is just turn over to the other side. Just close the day. Forget about it. There's nothing what to wake up for this day. This day is over. Finished. I don't want to have anything to do with this day. What for? To wake up in the morning towards this day in which I'm nothing but wrong every single step of the way is like being extradited, to another country. and the plane is landing, and you know that when you're going to come out, from the plane, there's police that will just take your hands. And that's what waking up me feels like. I'm waiting to be arrested. This is the most insidious Yetzer Hara there is. What about being happy with what you do? What? What did you say? Happy? Do you know what's going to happen to you if you're going to be happy with what you do? It's the end of you. That's it. That's the road to perdition. Next thing you'll be jumping on vans and dancing, I don't know what. But the truth of the matter is that if you would be happy with whatever it is that you do, you will do a lot more of it. If you yeah. Now Hillel, you have to take it back because we can't see it. We just see one letter at a time. You take back. Ad Bias Mashiach. That's right. If you were to give yourself the benefit of a doubt, it's not even the benefit of a doubt. It's just understanding that this is a Yetzer Hara. What does it mean to Yetzer Hara? How does he get me? How does he get me? I mean, how do I know when to stop? How do I know, when this is too much? When I've loosened the leash too much and I'm just like going down the drain in fast train. Well, what's it? The answer is don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. As long as you want to get to Kadosh Baruch Hu, you're fine. You're okay. If you find yourself in throes of fear and despair that doesn't let you move, that doesn't let you breathe, does not come from the Kedusha. This is not the Kedusha. And we'll take it one step further. We have 1 minute and it'll shut down, then we'll come back up again. But